Watch me virtually assess the rehab on a potential fix and flip that I haven't even seen in person or even looked at before. So how do investors estimate the rehab when they're out of state, too busy, or just want to do it faster? For your initial assessment, you want to get quick and dirty estimates. Then you can do that all virtually, and I am going to show you how you can do that today. All right, guys, I am going to look at a property that I have never seen before, and I'm going to help you estimate those rehabs with me. Here's the thing, a lot of people spend a lot of time on estimating the rehab, and I think that can be a mistake. You want to get an idea how much the rehab is going to cost you, but you don't need to have it right to the penny. What you have to understand is when you make an offer on a property, you also give yourselves a due diligence and inspections deadline. During that inspections and due diligence deadline, you can actually then get your contractors in there to inspect the property, see if there's things that you've been missing, and to give you actual pricing. If that pricing comes in more than what you thought, you can go back and renegotiate with the seller, or you can pull out of the contract, or you can move forward if you still think there's enough profit in it for you to move forward. So you have options. The key here is getting the property under contract so you take it off the market, so then you can do your due diligence, figure out values, figure out how much you're going to sell it for, figure out exactly how much the rehab is, figure out if there's other things you need to be aware of, then renegotiate, move forward, or pull yourself out of the contract and get your earnest money back if you have wrote your contract correctly. So what I want to talk about today is how do you know what to make that initial offer at if you haven't yet seen the property? You see, all the time we make offers on properties that we had never seen before. We would just look at some pictures or get an idea of how much the rehab is actually going to be on the property. And then once it went under contract, we would then tighten our numbers up. So I'm going to pull up a property today I have never seen. I don't know where it's at. I don't even know where I'm going to pull this one. So let's just say, I don't know, Georgia, Chicago, Houston, Texas. I don't know. I'm going to say Georgia. Okay. Let's just say Atlanta. Okay. Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. I just pulled up Atlanta, Georgia. I've never seen this before. I don't know about it. I don't even know what's going on. And let's just maybe look at some of these pre-foreclosures. Just try and find something here that we can walk through together. I really want to help you understand. Okay, I like this. This is one of those houses where it's like it's FHA grade, but it's not amazing. You know what I mean? This is one that I could probably fix up and do something with. So let's walk through this. Let's talk about this specific property and what I would do to this specific property. So first off, how big is this house? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this house. It's 1,536 square feet. I'm gonna get my pencil out here and I'm gonna write some of this out. So it's 1,536 square feet. Okay, that's what we're looking at. Right now, this house has, let's see, what do we have for beds and bathrooms? It was built in 1930, so that helps me. Let's see, not a short sale, corporate owned, 3 months. Property details. There are 4 bedrooms and there are 2 baths. Okay, that's important to me because I got to know how much I'm going to spend on those baths. So that's important to me. 4 beds, 2 baths, 2 full bathrooms. So there are tub and showers in those. That's a lot in 1,500 square feet. Must be real well done. Let's see here. What else can we find out about this property? Looks like it was sold to these guys from Atlanta Girl Investor. Arm's length transaction. So yeah, I mean, we don't really need to get into all of this stuff. It was pulled off the market at $289. Okay, so let's just look at a few of the pictures in here and say, what have we really got going on? That doesn't look too bad. That looks pretty good. This stuff looks kind of more out of date. I would modernize these types of things, maybe redo the hardwood floors. This isn't a bad house by any stretch of the imagination, but I want to just give you some rough ideas on some things that I would be recommending and some of the things I would be doing. So with this specific property, we've got 1,536 square feet, okay? And what we want to basically do is, how do we know how much needs to be done to this property? So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about medium rehab, high rehab, light rehab, and some of the different levels. So the way I look at this is I like to say there are rental grade. So we're going to call rental grade repairs. We're going to say there's light repairs. We're going to say medium repairs. And we're going to say heavy repairs, okay? heavy repairs. So what are some of the differences in these? It really just depends on the condition of the property. So this property we're just looking at right now, is it going to be something we're going to put into rental grade because we want to rent this property out? If so, that's going to be different. I usually don't want to rent the property out. This definitely isn't a heavy rehab. It's going to be somewhere between a light and a medium rehab. It really depends if we're going to get the kitchen cabinets and those types of things out, but some of the paint look good. So let's talk a little about what we're talking about for let's just talk about a rental rehab real quickly. A rental rehab, you are going to spend some money getting it into condition. So paint on a rental rehab, I plan on $2 to $3 a square foot in paint. Now, people are gonna say, well, how do I measure the square footage for paint? Don't worry about it. Take $2 to $3, times it by the square footage, and that's what you're gonna do. You don't have to measure every wall. This is a down and dirty. So if I take this and I say, okay, I've got 1536, and let's say I'm on the high end because the market's high. Right now, I'm $4,600, $4,600 in order to do paint in a rental grade property, okay? Really down and dirty. Then if we're doing carpet's gonna be $2 to $3 as well. Same, I'm gonna times out, I'm $4,600, or I could be depends on how good of a deal you're getting, $1,536 or $3,000. I think $3K is probably, so it's $3 to $4K. I'd probably go $3K on both of these for carpet, for paint. Then we talk about some cleanup. This property, if it is in this condition, doesn't need a lot of cleanup, but I'm gonna say it's $1 to $2 a square foot if there is cleanup. And then some landscape. Depending upon the landscape, I'm gonna plan on anywhere from $1 to $6 for landscape. Now, if I'm spending $1 in landscape and it's 1,536 square feet, I'm planning on $1,536 in landscape. So I'm basically just saying, hey, what type of level of repair am I doing? I have a range for each one of those levels, and then based upon that range is how I determine some of the pricing. So let's say that we think that the paint needs a lot more work than the carpet. And so we're gonna spend $4,600 on paint. We're gonna spend, let's say $3,000 on carpet. We're gonna spend $1,536 on landscape, right? We got all those things. And so then we're gonna, some cleanup. Let's just say there's not a lot of cleanup. So I'm gonna put there's $1,536 in cleanup. That's basically what I'm looking at. And if I add all those things up, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, what are we, probably about 11K is basically what I'm looking at. Now that is if I'm not doing any of the cabinets and that type of stuff. So let's just say we're gonna jump up to a light rehab, okay? I'm gonna get rid of some of this so we can just talk a little bit about what we're gonna consider a light rehab. Now with light rehab, that's where we're getting into some kitchens, we're getting into some bathrooms, those types of things. So with a light rehab, I'm still, paint, I'm still looking at $2 to $3 per square foot, okay, is what we're looking at paint. In carpet, I'm still looking at the same, $2 to $3 a square foot in carpet, just like we did before. Now we get into fixtures. Fixtures, I'm gonna be $1 to $2 a square foot in fixtures. What are fixtures? We're talking lights. We're talking light switches. We're talking those types of things. I'm gonna budget $1 to $2. So if it's 1,500 square feet, I'm $1,536 to about $3,000 in fixtures. So now let's talk, you also have some demo, and I'm gonna be $1 to $2 in demo. So I'm basically, $1,500 to $3,000 on demo. This is gonna be if we're tearing out the bathroom, if we're tearing out the kitchen, if we're tearing out those types of things, or we're taking out a wall, that's gonna be demo. The more we're doing, the higher it will be. The less we're doing, the less it will be. Now we get into what we're talking about with some miscellaneous landscape. Okay, so I'm doing some landscaping. I usually put $1 to $2 in landscaping, which is $1,500 to $3,000. Now, if you're looking at the picture, if you haven't seen the property yet, which is perfectly fine, you're looking at the pictures or just trying to get an idea, hey, do I think it's gonna need a lot of landscaping? Are we gonna need demo? Is it gonna need fixtures, carpet? I would plan on those things needing to be there. Now we get to kitchen and bath, okay? Kitchens and bath, and I'm gonna estimate for kitchen and bath somewhere between $3 to $6 a square foot on kitchen and bath. So that means, again, we're just using the overall square footage. Is this exact? No, not at all. This is a quick down dirty to help us get an idea of where we need to be. So let's say we're using a $5. Let's say, oh, we wanna redo the bathrooms, we want them super nice. $5 a square foot comes times 1,536 square feet. I'm planning on $7,680 for the beds and baths. Now, maybe I'm only doing, for the kitchen and baths. Maybe I'm only doing one. Maybe I've got to do less. Great, I'm gonna go down to the $3 for those types of things. So let me give you even a quick and dirtier. If you're gonna do a rental repair, I typically plan on $10 a square foot to do those things we're talking about for the rental, which is typically paint, carpet, miscellaneous landscaping, a little bit of cleanup. I plan on about $10. If I'm gonna do what's called a light rehab, I'm planning on somewhere around $14 a square foot. Now that's also going to include the fixtures, the demo, and some kitchen and bath, those types of things. If I'm gonna do like a medium rehab, I'm getting up to about $26 a square foot. And if I am going to do a heavy rehab, I'm about $37 a square foot. Now, is this accurate? No, it's not accurate, but it gives you an idea of what you can make an offer so you can start negotiating, so you can work on yourself getting into contract. That's really what all this is. The other thing that we've done is simplified this, so all you have to do is take the square footage times by the amount, and you know about how much that's going to cost you, and then you can go and get a little bit more detailed. So 1536 times 10 is $15,360. $15,360. Now prices change, materials change, labor changes. I get all that. All those things are going to be changing. So this again is what we call a down and dirty. This is $21,500. $26 times the square footage, 1536, is going to be $39,936. And if we look at 1536, let's see, 1536 times $37, we're basically looking at $56,000, okay, in repairs. Now, again, we can get more detailed if we want to. This is a down and dirty, where we're just taking the square footage, we're deciding what type of rehab, we're timesing it out, and we're coming up with a price. So if I'm somewhere between light and medium on this specific property, I'm gonna make a judgment call here and say, hey, if I think it's more on the light side, the medium, maybe it's somewhere in between, I'm gonna plan on 30K for rehab. Or you're gonna say, you know what, I definitely wanna reduce some of that stuff, I'm gonna plan on $39,000 in rehab. Or I'm gonna be on the lighter side, I'm gonna plan on about $20,000 of rehab. Any way you do that, you're quick and dirty, looking at a property, making a determination as to, is it rental, is it light, is it medium, is it heavy? You come up with this. Now, if you want to take it a step further, then you can actually break down that, like I think this was the light. You can break down and say, you know what, I think I'm going to be high on the paint, but I'm going to be lower on the carpet, but higher on the fixtures. I'm going to be higher in the demo. The landscaping, I'm going to be a little higher. The kitchen, I'm going to be a little lower. You can kind of make those accommodations. Again, this is a down and dirty, so you can go make an offer on a property. That's to get the negotiation started, and then you get inside the property and see what actually needs to be done. This is just some estimates. I mean, have you ever thought about some investors buy properties without ever seeing the property? Well, how do they do that? Well, what they do is say, you know what? I think the worst case scenario for me is going to be about $37 a square foot, or maybe they say it's $40,000 a square foot. So they're going to plan on $56,000 in rehab. Okay, I'm planning on $56,000 rehab. Now, if the rehab comes in for less, then they're going to make more profit. If the rehab comes in for more, they're going to make less profit. But lots of times they're using a pretty good average, and they're saying sometimes we win and sometimes we lose, but we win more than we lose. That's basically what we're looking at. The other thing that I've done here to simplify this is you don't have to measure the carpet square footage you're putting in, the paint square footage you're putting in, the demo you're doing. All you're simply doing is saying, what's the square feet on the house, times that by your rental, your light, your medium, your heavy, and then with that information, you come up with a price, you put that into your calculator to determine how much of an offer you need to make, and then if you get the property under contract, that's when you send your contractors out there. That's when you actually go to the property. That's when you figure out if this deal is going to make sense for you or not. But this gives you enough information where you can make an offer on a property and then start negotiating. Now, let's say you made an offer on the property and they counter offer you. So let's say you made an offer for $100,000 and they came back and said $115,000 and it's yours. I haven't seen the property. I've done these basic calculations. I have a couple of options here. I can say, I'll tell you what, I'll take the $115,000, but give me 2 weeks inspections and due deadline so I can figure out, so I can get all my numbers and get my contractor out there and see the property. That's what I would do. Now, some people will rush over to the property and then take their contractors over there. The problem is contractors get sick of running to properties that they end up never getting the jobs on. So I like to have a property tied up before I take my contractors out there to see the property. However, I want to make sure I have a way to get out of the property, which is my inspections and my due diligence deadline. So that's what I do is say, hey, let's go under contract. Give me a couple weeks. The spiel I usually give is, I'll tell you what, that's a little high, but I think I might be able to make it work. But I'm gonna have to tighten the pencil on this. So I'll tell you what, give me 2 weeks. I need to get my contractors out there. I need to get in the property. I need to do all this. And at the end of 2 weeks, one of two things is gonna happen. Either I'm gonna find out it's gonna be more and I can't make this deal work. If that's the case, we'll shake hands, we'll part as friends. If I can make it work, then we'll move forward to the closing. Does that sound fair to you? Most people say, absolutely, that sounds plenty fair. You need to get in here, see what problems there are. Now, when I do that, I can renegotiate with them and say, repairs are a lot more than what we were thinking. I'll tell you what, we'll buy the property, but we'll buy it for this, but we're ready to close here real soon. So then I can renegotiate with them. If I can't renegotiate with them, I can say, well, I'll do it, but I'll do it at a lower profit margin if they won't come down on the price. Or I can simply say, I'm removing myself from the contract. I'm gonna get my earnest money back, and then I will go find another property. So I hope this has been really helpful for you in doing it down and dirty as to how much repairs are actually going to be there. Please know, and I've said this 3 or 4 times, this is not exact. This is simply to get you in the ballpark for you to make an offer. Once you're under contract, that's when you get better pricing. Now, even if a contractor goes and gives you pricing, it's not exact pricing either because things can change, but at least you've got a bid that you can be working off. Now, if you would like to see my exact process for how I calculate ARVs fast, which is after repaired values, what a property is going to sell for. So this gives you an idea of the rehab. Now, how do you know what the property is going to sell for? Well, you need to do that really fast so you're able to make an offer on the property. So I've got a video, you can check it out. It's how you can be fast and accurate in determining the after repaired value, how you throw out bad deals faster and move on the good ones, and my rule of thumb for the best comps you could possibly use. Check out this video, you're going to love it and make it a very profitable day.